All right, ready to dive deep into some fascinating ideas about wealth and poverty.
Absolutely.
And hold on, we're not just talking bank accounts, okay?
Yeah.
This is about mindsets and habits.
Oh, yeah?
The stuff beneath the surface.
Yeah, the real drivers.
Exactly. We've got some seriously thought-provoking material to unpack here. So let's jump right in.
Okay, so what's really interesting here is this core idea. Poverty isn't just a lack of money.
Right.
It's deeper. It's a lack of productivity. It's about not having those positive habits, the ones that really drive success in any area of life, not just finances.
I'm super intrigued by this whole concept of one day being like the catalyst for change, right?
Yeah.
But is that realistic? Can you really completely transform your life in a single day?
Well, it's not about a magical overnight, Cinderella situation.
Yeah.
Think about learning to walk, right? Or ride a bike.
Okay.
You didn't just wake up one day and bam, you're doing it perfectly.
Definitely not.
It took consistent effort, lots of practice, probably a few falls along the way.
A few scrapes and bruises for sure.
Exactly. And building a wealth-generating mindset, it's the same.
Okay, so it's a process, right?
Absolutely. It's about training yourself, step by step, habit by habit.
So instead of waiting for someday, that magical day that never comes,
right?
We need to focus on building those habits now. But, okay, what are those habits? Exactly.
Yeah.
How do they actually differ between people who have, let's say, a wealthy mindset versus those who are, stuck in a poverty mindset? And again, we're talking mindset here, not just bank accounts.
Totally. So one of the key differences is how they approach responsibility.
Okay, interesting.
People with a wealthy mindset, they own their choices. They own their outcomes.
Right.
They don't blame others for their circumstances.
Interesting.
They have this thing called auto-responsibility.
Auto-responsibility, okay. So it's about being accountable for your own life, right?
Yes, but isn't there a danger in taking too much responsibility, though?
Yeah, that's a good point. What about things that are truly outside of our control,
Right. It's not about blaming yourself for everything.
Yeah.
It's about focusing on what you can control, like your actions, your reactions, your choices. People with a poverty mindset, they often get stuck in this cycle of blame,
Yeah.
victimhood. And that prevents them from taking action to actually, improve their situation.
Right, it keeps them stuck.
Exactly.
Got it. So auto-responsibility is about empowering yourself to create change.
Yeah.
What other habits really distinguish these mindsets?
Another huge one is their approach to learning and growth. People with a wealthy mindset, they're constantly seeking knowledge, they're expanding their skill set, they're challenging their own assumptions.
Yeah, they don't get complacent.
Never. They see learning as an investment, not a chore.
Whereas those with a poverty mindset, they might be more easily distracted by things that don't actually contribute to their growth, right?
Yeah, it's like they're entertained by their own poverty in a way.
That's a powerful image.
It is. And it highlights how important it is to be mindful of where you're putting your time, your energy. Are you investing it in activities that'll move you forward?
Right. Or just distracting yourself.
Exactly.
Keeping yourself stuck.
Okay, and then there's the way they actually handle money itself.
Yeah, how they think about it.
Right, the wealthy mindset, they get the power of compounding, right?
You.
They invest consistently, even if it's just small amounts.
Yeah, they're always looking for those opportunities to grow their wealth.
And those with a poverty mindset, they might be super focused on saving, or even worse, spending on things that don't appreciate in value, right?
Yeah, they miss out on the potential for, long-term growth and real financial freedom.
It's not just blindly throwing money at the market, though, right?
No.
It's not just hoping for the best. They're taking action, creating opportunities. They're kind of creating their own luck almost. 100%. They're out there hustling, making connections, spotting those opportunities that other people miss. It's about being proactive, not passive.
Makes sense.
And what's fascinating is how all these habits are connected.
Right.
They reinforce each other. It creates this powerful cycle, of growth and momentum.
It's like you said about the sheet of paper and the notebook falling together.
Oh, yeah.
Individually, they might just flutter around.
Yeah.
But together,
Yeah.
they cut through the air.
Totally.
Those habits, they work together. It's like creating this slipstream that propels you forward, like race cars drafting off each other.
That is a fantastic analogy.
I thought so.
It really shows how building a wealth mindset isn't about just picking up, one or two good habits.
Right.
It's about cultivating a whole system of habits that work together to actually support your goals.
It makes you wonder if there are even like deeper mental models at play here, right? Like, are there underlying frameworks that are actually driving these outward behaviors?
You are spot on. He does touch on some deeper mental frameworks. One of the most important is like this distinction between first-level thinking and second-level thinking.
Okay, I'm all ears. Break that down for me. What's the difference?
All right, so first-level thinking, it's reactive, it's emotional, it's often very short-sighted.
Right.
It's about instant gratification, those knee-jerk responses.
Yeah.
Second-level thinking, though, is more deliberate, more analytical. Considers the long-term consequences.
So it's about stepping back, right?
Yes.
Seeing the bigger picture before you jump into a decision.
Exactly.
What is he saying? We should never trust our gut instincts?
Oh, no.
That emotions are always the enemy of good decision-making?
Not at all. It's more about being aware of when you're operating from pure emotion,
Okay.
versus when you need to engage that more strategic, long-term thinking. It's having the self-awareness to like switch between those modes depending on the situation.
Can you give me an example of how this actually plays out, in the context of these wealth and poverty mindsets?
Yeah, think about the habit of taking ownership versus blaming others, right?
Okay.
Blaming. Classic first-level thinking.
Right.
Emotional reaction to a negative situation.
Yeah.
But taking ownership, that requires that second-level thinking.
You're analyzing your role in the outcome.
Exactly. Looking for those lessons learned, finding ways to improve.
So it's not about suppressing emotions, right? It's about harnessing them to make smarter choices that actually align with your long-term goals.
You got it. And this connects to another mental model he talks about.
Okay.
The different ways people view growth and progress. He describes 3 types of thinking: linear, progressive, and exponential.
Right. This is where it gets juicy. Tell me more.
Okay, so linear thinking. It sees growth as slow, steady climb, but with limited potential.
Okay.
It's like climbing a ladder, one rung at a time. Progressive thinking sees growth as a more consistent upward trend, like climbing a staircase. You're making steady progress, but it's still gradual.
Okay, I'm with you so far. But what about exponential thinking? That sounds pretty exciting.
That's the game changer. Exponential thinking sees growth as accelerating rapidly over time, like a rocket taking off. It's about finding ways to multiply your efforts and your results, not just adding to them incrementally.
So how does he actually connect these different thinking styles to those habits of wealth and poverty?
Well, he shares his own journey from linear to progressive thinking, using some of his early financial decisions as examples.
Okay.
Initially, he was trapped in that linear mindset, believing his income was limited by his job. But then he had this breakthrough moment.
Wait. Don't spoil it just yet. I'm dying to hear about this breakthrough.
All right. We'll save that story for the next part of our deep dive. I think it'll really bring these kind of abstract concepts to life and give you some concrete takeaways to apply to your own life.
Okay. I've been on the edge of my seat here, waiting to hear about this breakthrough moment. Spill the tea.
All right. So he shares this story about his early days of marriage. He had a steady job, thought his income was pretty much fixed, stuck in that linear thinking, right? He even described this time when he was like debating between buying a big screen TV on a payment plan or investing in something for his business that he called a home feeder.
Hold on. A home feeder. What is that? I'm picturing some high-tech bird feeder with facial recognition.
No, not quite. He doesn't go into specifics, but it seems like it was some sort of equipment or tool that would help him generate more income from home.
Okay, so the classic dilemma then.
Totally.
Immediate gratification versus investing in his future earning potential.
Exactly.
The age-old battle.
Yeah.
Wants versus needs. So which path did he choose?
He went for the instant gratification, the big screen TV.
Oh, no.
But looking back, he realized that by choosing that short-term pleasure, he was actually limiting his future possibilities.
Right.
It was like he was choosing to stay on that financial ladder instead of, building a staircase to greater wealth.
That's a powerful realization.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new gadget or, something shiny. But sometimes those choices can keep us stuck.
Yeah, in that cycle of limited thinking.
Exactly.
And it's not about denying yourself all pleasure, of course. It's about being mindful of the trade-offs you're making.
Yeah. Are you sacrificing long-term growth for a fleeting moment of satisfaction?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did he actually make that leap from progressive thinking to that exponential growth mindset you were talking about? What was the catalyst for that shift?
He started surrounding himself with people who were already operating on that exponential level.
Okay.
These were people who saw possibilities where others saw limitations.
Like that.
They weren't afraid to take risks, make bold moves.
It's like the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah, your network can either elevate you or hold you back.
For sure.
And by observing and learning from these individuals, he started to internalize their mindsets, their strategies.
Interesting.
He realized that wealth wasn't just about hard work. It was also about leverage, innovation, finding ways to scale his impact.
That ties back to the importance of lifelong learning, right?
Absolutely.
It's not enough to just go through the motions. You need to be actively seeking out new knowledge, new skills, new perspectives. You need to become a student of success.
100%. And part of that is being willing to question your assumptions,
Yeah.
Challenge conventional wisdom.
Yeah.
Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from seeing things differently than everyone else.
There's that critical thinking muscle we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
It's about being open to new possibilities and not letting those limiting beliefs hold you back.
It's about cultivating a growth mindset, embracing challenges as opportunities for learning, and understanding that failure is, well, it's just part of the journey.
This has been so insightful, but I have to ask, how can someone listening actually start to, shift their mindset and build those wealth-generating habits? Where do you even begin?
He emphasizes the importance of self-awareness. You need to understand your current habits, beliefs, and thought patterns. Which of these habits do you already have? Which ones are holding you back? What beliefs are actually limiting your potential?
He's big on action, isn't he? It's not enough to just think about wealth. You have to actually take steps to build those habits that will lead you there.
Absolutely. And he doesn't sugarcoat it. Changing habits takes effort, discipline, and consistency. You have to be willing to train yourself, just like you would train for a marathon or learn a new language.
And it's not a solo journey either, right? He talks about finding mentors, building a supportive network, surrounding yourself with people who believe in your vision.
Exactly. Having that support system can make all the difference when you're facing challenges or feeling discouraged.
What about setbacks, though? Let's face it, building new habits and transforming your mindset, it isn't always easy. There are going to be bumps in the road. How does he suggest dealing with those inevitable failures?
He actually has a really interesting perspective on this. He talks about the difference between being a victim of circumstance and letting that define you. He uses a powerful analogy to illustrate this point.
Wait, I remember this. It involves a car accident, right?
You got it. Imagine someone hits your car. The accident itself is out of your control. It's a momentary event.
Right.
But how you react to it, that's what determines whether you become a victim or not.
Okay, so what's the difference between like a healthy response and a victim mentality?
If you dwell on the accident, blame the other driver, feel sorry for yourself, and let it ruin your entire day, you're letting that temporary setback control your emotions and actions. He calls this being a victimist.
So it's about choosing how you respond to challenges, not letting them define your story or derail your progress.
Precisely. And this all circles back to auto-responsibility. It's about acknowledging your role in any situation, learning from your mistakes, and focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on problems.
It's about cultivating resilience, right? Learning from setbacks and using them as fuel to keep moving forward.
Exactly. It's about developing that mental toughness to overcome obstacles and stay committed to your goals even when things get tough.
But we all have those moments where we just, don't feel like doing the work.
What does he suggest for staying motivated and avoiding those procrastination pitfalls?
He actually recommends finding ways to make the process itself enjoyable, celebrate those small wins along the way. And he emphasizes finding your why, that deeper purpose that drives your actions. When you're connected to your why, it's much easier to push through those moments of resistance.
It's about making the journey itself rewarding, not just focusing on the end goal. I like that. But what about burnout? You can't operate at 100% all the time. How does he suggest managing energy levels and avoiding burnout? He advocates for having a strong start to the day, waking up early, getting things done before distractions arise. But he also stresses the importance of rest and recovery, both physically and mentally. You need to recharge those batteries.
So it's about finding a sustainable rhythm.
Yeah.
Knowing when to push yourself and when to take a step back. This has been such a fascinating deep dive. I'm already thinking about my own mindset and the areas where I could be more intentional about cultivating these wealth-generating habits.
I'm glad you're finding it valuable. He goes on to talk about some more unconventional habits that are essential for success, both in business and life. Are you ready to hear more?
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear what other gems he has to offer. Bring on the unconventional wisdom. Right, lay it on me. What are these unconventional habits we need to know about?
One that really surprised me, honestly, is this idea of being intentional with your time.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of obvious on the surface, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But he argues that those with a wealth mindset, they are incredibly disciplined with their schedules. They have a clear plan for their day and they stick to it, like religiously.
So it's more than just like having a to-do list, right?
Way more. It's about having a deeper, more strategic approach to time management.
Okay, interesting.
He emphasizes this importance of having a vision for your life, knowing your priorities and then actually structuring your time in a way that aligns with those goals.
So you're not just letting life happen to you.
Exactly. He even suggests scheduling time for personal development, learning, creative pursuits.
That's interesting. It's like he's saying you should manage your entire life, not just your work hours.
Precisely. He argues that those with a poverty mindset often fall into what he calls the rush trap.
The rush trap, okay.
They're constantly reacting to events, feeling overwhelmed, never quite in control of their time.
Ooh, I know that feeling all too well.
It's like you're constantly chasing your tail, but never quite catching up.
Yeah, always behind.
And he contrasts that with the intentional, proactive approach of someone with a wealth mindset. They're not just reacting to circumstances, they're shaping their own reality.
So how do you actually escape that rush trap and take control of your time? Like what specific strategies does he suggest?
He's a huge advocate for planning your day in advance.
Makes sense.
Setting clear boundaries, learning to say no to things that don't align with your goals. He even talks about having dedicated time blocks for certain tasks, minimizing distractions, being ruthless about cutting out time-wasting activities.
I love that. It's about being the architect of your own life, not just, letting things happen to you.
Absolutely. And this ties into another unconventional habit he mentions, embracing risk and understanding that failure is just part of the process.
Right.
He believes that those with a wealth mindset, they're not afraid to step outside their comfort zone, try new things, even if it means they might fail.
It's so easy to get caught up in the fear of failure.
Right.
Just play it safe. But he's saying if you want to achieve great things, you got to be willing to take those risks.
You have to. He argues that every failure is a learning opportunity, a chance to get back up and try again with more knowledge and experience.
Get on back stronger.
Exactly. He seems to have a strong spiritual side as well.
Yeah. I was picking up on that.
Does that factor into his philosophy of wealth creation at all?
Yeah, I was curious about that too.
Yeah, he does talk about the importance of faith, having a belief in something bigger than yourself.
Okay.
He believes that this spiritual foundation, it provides a sense of purpose and guidance, which can be incredibly valuable when you're facing challenges.
So it's not just about material wealth, right? It's about aligning your actions with a higher purpose.
Exactly. He emphasizes the importance of integrity, generosity, using your wealth to make a positive impact on the world.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on wealth and poverty. It's not just about the money. It's about cultivating a mindset that empowers you to create the life you want. If you had to sum it all up, what would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
I think the key takeaway is that it's never too late to start building a wealth mindset, It's about developing those positive habits, challenging your limiting beliefs, and taking consistent action toward your goals.
It's a reminder that we have the power to shape our own destiny. It's not about where you start. It's about the choices you make each day.
Couldn't agree more.
So what small habit will you start cultivating today? What step will you take to move closer to your goals? Until next time, keep diving deep.